We all know it. The story of the Dark Knight, Sparda. The demon who turned against his realm for the sake of the human race. With his demonic powers, alongside his swords, Sparda, Yamato, and rebellion, he defeated the twin brother of Elohim, known as the biblical god. After that, he lived in the human realm, defending humans from the dangers of the supernatural world. For the humans, they start worshipping him as their own god. Funny, right? How do I know? Well, I met the sons of Sparda. Both of them. Yep, not a lot of people know that. But the legendary Dark Knight married with a female human and had 2 twins. Though the same blood of their father flowed through their veins, the two battled each other fiercely like archenemies. It seems as if they derive some twisted pleasure from this brotherly fighting. But in the end, only one was left standing. What's up? Ghost Fictions is here, and we're back again. This is the part 4 of a story where Issei become the true silver dragon god emperor of fate. But before we start, please consider subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Don't forget to check the description for more information. Now, let's get into part 4. Deep in the mountains of Nepal, within a hidden cave that no human or supernatural being could reach and get into, we see Issei, Zenobia, and Office emerge from the portal made by Office to be in front of a giant vault door within a cave. Both Issei and Zenobia were amazed at the door as well as confused as to where they were. Issei, confused. Office, where are we, some kind of cave? Zenobia, shivers, and why is it so cold? Office, emotionless, we're deep in the mountains of Nepal, and this cave is where the entrance to one of my treasuries is located. Issei, curious, Nepal. Like where Mount Everest is located. But I thought you were taking us to the sons of Sparda. Office, stoic I am, you'll understand once I show you. This confused the brown-haired boy, since what could the infinite dragon god not be telling him? But before he could think on it more, the emerald green gem appeared on his left hand and spoke Ddraig, whose voice was filled with a bit of concern. Ddraig, serious partner, before we move forward, is there something that you should know? Issei, curious, huh, what is it, Ddraig? Ddraig, serious, well, it's about the seal you told me about, the one that Malzeno said you had since the day you were born. Issei, curious, yeah, what about it? Did you find something there that you recognized? Ddraig, serious, I did. It turns out that you actually had a dragon magic core inside you, my dragon magic core, and I already told you that there was only one person I willingly gave my blessing to. Issei, shock, no way, so you're saying that I'm not only related to you but also her, but how? Zenobia, confused. Issei, what is Ddraig talking about? Office, stoic, he is talking about his inherited blessing. Zenobia, confused, blessing. Office, stoic, as you might have already known, we dragons are the pinnacle of power in all of existence, to the point that even the mightiest of gods would be wary of facing us even with dragon-slaying weapons or spells. But similar to gods, we dragons can also bestow upon blessings to humans and other races, but we do not share it frivolously unlike the gods, hence there are not many legends where beings who did not have dragon-type sacred gears were blessed by dragons. It would seem Ddraig gave his blessing to Issei's ancestor, hence making Ice Ddraig's pseudo-ancestor. Zenobia, shocked, so Ice was already related to Ddraig. Curious, I guess that kind of explains why he was chosen to possess the boosted gear, since he already had a link to Ddraig, but who was Issei related to be given a blessing by one of the 2 heavenly dragons? Issei, shocked, King Arthur is my ancestor and was the one who was blessed by Ddraig. Zenobia, shocked, what? Zenobia couldn't believe what she just heard. Issei was related to both the original Red Dragon Emperor, but also the legendary King of Knights, who wielded the original Excalibur, as well as many holy items. That would also mean that Issei was not only a possible natural-born holy sword wielder, but also part of the Pendragon family. She had to admit that Issei was just filled with surprises, and honestly she believes that she hasn't even scratched the surface of who Issei really is. She might know things about the brown-haired boy that not even Irina knew about. Issei, shocked and confused, but how, Ddraig, how is this even possible? Ddraig, serious, I honestly don't know, it really shouldn't be possible, especially since the purity of your dragon core would make it that at least she was at the very least your grandmother, saddened, but. Issei, curious, but what? Ddraig, saddened him. Issei, serious, Ddraig, please tell me, don't hold out on me, especially now that we're essentially more than just partners. Saddened, you are literally one of the only few family members that I can count on right now, so please tell me. Ddraig, sigh, sadly, not only do I believe I know who was the one who sealed away your dragon core, but I think I also know why that person sealed them away in the first place. Issei, serious, who was it and why? Ddraig, serious, it was your mother, partner, she was the one who sealed away your powers. I noticed when you exposed everyone's faults. It seemed that she also had a dragon core like yours, but it was a lot smaller and weaker compared to yours to the point she wouldn't be different to any human unless specifically searching for it. Issei. Shocked Ka-san sealed away my powers, but why? Why would she do that? Eyes widen in realization that means she knew about the supernatural as well as me being a devil and being the Sekiryuutei. Confused, but why didn't she tell me? Why didn't come to me after I became a devil or unlocked the boosted gear? Ddraig. Sad, and I believe she kept this from you because she was afraid of you. Issei. Shocked and confused, what afraid, but why? Ddraig. Serious, it could be that when you were born and when she saw that not only you possessed a lot more magical energy and a stronger dragon core, on top of having the boosted gear, she may have developed in deep fear of you of becoming a monster similar to that my previous hosts in the past. But I also believe she might also developed inferiority complex towards you, since you were destined to be a million times stronger than her. Everyone was shocked by the words of the Welsh dragon, finding out that Issei's own mother was jealous of his own son all this time, just because he was born with a power that he never even asked for and was essentially punished for it. This gravely concerned Zenovia, since she could tell much that the conversation between the brown-haired boy and his former father hurt and angered him. So to find out that his own mother sealed away who he truly was just out of fear that her own son would look down on her was something unheard for a parent would do, especially since Zenovia wanted her children to be stronger than her, since it would mean that she knew that they will be well protected long after she was gone. Crack. Everyone was brought out of their thoughts when they saw Issei punch the nearby, which almost shattered completely. Not only that, the resulting punching caused a minor quake throughout the cave and most of the mountain, to the point if listened closely an avalanche had begun nearby. Issei. Enraged, why would she do this to me? Sheds tears while growling in anger. Did she really think I would look down on her, that I would act arrogant and superior to her? Or was this entire time she was afraid me believing that she gave birth to a fucking monster? I would have never thought like that or saw Aka-san as a lesser being. If I knew I had known I had all this power deep inside of me, then I would have used it to protect her and Oda-san. Eyes narrowed, but no, all she saw was a good-for-nothing perverted monster that she unfortunately gave birth to and would never truly measure up to anything. Ddraig. Concerned partner, please calm down, you're going to bring this entire mountain down on top of us. Issei. Trembling in rage, I just don't get it. I feel as though every time I'm about to take one step forward into something better and greater than before, something is always there to push me 2 steps back, as if it's trying to set me back square one. Ddraig. Serious, that's because that is how life works, partner. Life itself is a battlefield all on its own. There is a reason why the saying the weak die and the strong survive exists, because at the end of the day it's true, the world that we live in is truly a harsh and unforgiving one. That's why we must fight day in and day out just in order to survive another day. Issei. Saddened, do you think I'm weak, Ddraig? Ddraig. Serious, not in the slightest, and that was before what happened today, partner. No, Issei, physical strength and simple raw power does not define you as strong, since anyone could achieve that. True strength comes from sheer will and determination. You are the embodiment of that aspect. Do you believe that just anyone who was brought into the supernatural the way you were would be sane right now? Though you may have just focused on your perverted desire to become the harem king, let me tell you from experience that any normal human would have completely gone insane or just simply killed themselves, since it would be too much for them. But you stared right into the face of those horrors, right in the eye, and challenged it head on. Stand tall, Issei, because you are truly strong. Issei. Eyes widen in surprise. It was then Zenovia walked over to Issei, who was still trembling in rage upon finding out the truth about his mother. But when she gently grasped the brown-haired boy's hand, she was met with a deadly glare, but Issei's eyes now different again. They were not the same passionate and lovely crimson-red eyes that she had accustomed to. His eyes were now slits like that of a dragon, the color like red molten lava that was filled with rage, as if he being taken over by a beast fueled by rage. Upon seeing the look in Issei's eyes, the blue-haired girl widened her eyes in both shock and fear. Issei, seeing the expression on her face, turned away, hiding his saddened and terrified expression from her. Issei. Saddened, so you're afraid of me too, Zenovia? Do you also think that I'm a monster as well? Zenovia. Shakes her head concerned. No, Issei, I don't think you're a monster whatsoever. Issei. Saddened, but you are afraid of me, don't lie, I saw it in your eyes, you're afraid that I'll become a monster hell-bent on destroying everything around him. Upon seeing that words wouldn't convince the brown-haired boy, Zenovia decided to convince Issei through action, although a part of her was hesitant in doing so, since she wasn't sure if this was the right course of action, given what Issei was going through. But it was the only thing she could think of at the moment in hopes to calm Issei down and show that she was not afraid of him. Zenovia. Concerned while cupping his cheek. Eyes. Issei. Surprised. It was then Zenobia grabbed Issei's head and placed it on her chest, which indeed surprised Issei greatly. It was then Zenobia began to stroke Issei's hair, in hopes to calm him down, as she tried to speak in a calm and soothing voice. Zenobia. Serious Ice, it is true that I am afraid, but I'm not afraid of you, but more I'm afraid for you. Issei. Surprised, huh? Zenobia. Sad, and I understand that your world is spiraling out of control and feel that the universe is stacked against you, to which you feel you can't trust anyone. But that's not true. Smiles softly. Just like how I and Irina still care for you, there are others out there that still love and care for you for who you are. Besides, in this journey of yours you'll definitely find new people who will accept you for who you are. Smiles sadly. I know that a small part of you may have some misgivings about me given we've reasonably just met, but I have grown to care for you in a way that I can't imagine, and as such, I will tell you this. Issei. Surprise, huh? Zenobia. Zenobia. Smiles softly. If you ever feel like that indeed the world is truly against you and can't turn to anyone, then you can come to me, because no matter what I will always accept you for better or worse, for that I promise you, Ice. Issei genuinely had no words to say for what blue-haired girl just said to him. A small part of him was a bit hesitant since Rias said similar words to him and looked where it got him. But when he looked up and his crimson-red eyes met with her gentle but strong brown eyes that held nothing, pure honesty within them, unlike with Rias, who he felt deep down inside had some form of ulterior motive hidden behind hers, something felt different inside of him changed. As if something more than just his instincts were telling him to trust Zenobia and assured him that she wouldn't betray or abandon him ever. As well, hearing the blue-haired girl's heartbeat from being so close to her felt so calm, like a gentle river streaming. It was then Issei removed himself Zenobia's chest and wiped away the tears, since both her and Ddraig were right, since this journey would never be easy by a long shot, and he will be facing things that will no doubt do anything in its power to stop him from reaching his goals, and most of them will no doubt relate to his past. But as long as he has the will to keep moving forward, as well as having Zenobia, Ddraig, and hopefully Irina at his side, then they'll overcome it. It was then Issei looked towards Zenobia with a soft smile on his face, as his eyes returned to their normal crimson red. The blue-haired girl couldn't help but return said smile, all while inwardly sighing in relief, since she didn't know if she would make things worse. This made her hope that Irina would accept her and if possible ask for some advice to help keep Issei happy and not dwell on his past. Issei. Smiled softly. Thank you, Zenobia. Ddraig, you're right, I shouldn't think that this journey of mine would be an easy cakewalk. If I thought like that, then I would be just as or even more arrogant and naive as them. But hold Zenobia's hand. I believe as long I have you and the others on my side, then I truly believe I can overcome what's to come. Zenobia. Nods while a bit pink always. Ddraig. Smirks. You know that I always got your back, partner. Office. Stoic while a bit curious. Are you ready? Issei. Smiles softly. Yes, I am. Sorry for keeping you, Office, since I know you probably better things to do helping me and Zenobia. Office. Nods while smiles softly. No, keeping my promise to Malzeno is my highest priority, and you are his reincarnation. Helping you with your goals is my top priority. Issei. Smiles softly. Thank you. You truly are a good to honest person, and I know I may not have all of Malzeno's memories currently, but if I was truly Malzeno and saw you, then I would say that I'm extremely proud of you, Office. This of course caused a dragon god of infinity widen her eyes in disbelief, since as soon as Issei said those, Office saw a visage next to Issei, in which she saw a tall man that looked to be in his late 20s, with beautiful red crimson eyes, who held the exact smile that Issei had. Upon seeing the visage, Office did everything that she could hold back her tears, as well as smiling for the fact that her older brother was praising her, and that she was proud. It was then Office quickly turned around and decided to open the vault to her treasury. Office. Smiles softly. Thank you, Ice. Issei. Smiles softly. No problem. But that Office brought out her hand and casted a magic circle on the door. After a few moments the vault door began turning, initiating that it was opening. When Issei and Zenobia entered the vault they were gobsmacked. It was huge, all round of them relics, gold, jewels, and weapons from eras. The area seemed to be embedded into the mountain and seemed to almost go on forever. Issei and Zenobia then thought of the other reason on why Office is considered the dragon god of infinity. Office. Emotionless. Follow me. Zenobia. Amazed. So we're actually going to go inside an actual dragon's treasury, so exciting. Issei. Sweat drops. Isn't entering a dragon's treasure room considered bad luck and dangerous to the point it means instant death? Office. Nods. Only if you break into it is considered bad luck, but since I'm inviting you to, then you both will be okay. Also only I know where this is located, so the factions or any other pantheons can't find you. Issei. Curious. Office. Why do you have so many jewels? Office. Emotionless. Because they were shiny. Issei. Zenobia. Mind. Sweat dropped. Of course. As they were walking through the vault, both Issei and Zenobia couldn't help but be mesmerized by some of the treasures that Office had stocked up over the centuries. The brown-haired boy genuinely believed that just one of these can literally set him up financially and set him for life, maybe even a few more lives. He also couldn't help but find it nerve-wracking that if most dragons had this much treasure, then no doubt if they wanted to, they could buy the entire outright if that was an option. As they made it to the weapons section of the vault, there were two weapons that were in the middle of the area. The first was a large two-handed sword made mostly of a dark substance that resembles solidified lava, with claws running up its length, talons for a handguard, and a red jewel on its pommel. The second was a katana with a gold dragon-styled manuki inserted underneath the tsukamaki to allow for the fingers to grip. The tsuba handguard is now gold and a deep navy blue, shaped like an octagon with two trapezoidal halves, each with gold dot pattern patches, and in a grove-like motif with gold rings, inside of which are various circles and clusters of 3, arranged in triangular patterns. And the gold habaki fuller is also with a similar embossed pattern. The heimin featured is a kawazuko choji or tadpole head clove-styled heimin, similar to those found on blades historically made by Asafune Nagamitsu. The blade has also been given prominent temper lines. The scabbard is black, made of traditional lacquered wood, and features several metallic ornaments on its far end. Upon seeing the two blades, Issei couldn't be in absolute shock, since he knew he saw those blades before. Those were the blades that Dante and Virgil wielded in the battle in his dream last night. This immensely confused the brown-haired boy. Since he wondered why Office had their weapons, Issei decided to ask the infinite dragon god to see why she had the blades to the sons of Sparda, and if she stole them. Issei. Shock, those blades, those belong to Dante and Virgil, I know it. Looks to Office. Office, did you steal them? Office. Nods, no I didn't. Issei. Confused, then why are they here? Office. Stoic, that is because Dante and Virgil died 4 years ago. Issei. Zenobia. Ddraig. Shocked, what? Issei. Shocked, how? Ddraig. Curious, I would also like to know, since killing either son of Sparda would be considered almost an impossible feat, given from the time I first met them, I would guess they were both on par or surpassed their father. Office. Stoic, they killed each other. Issei. Zenobia. Ddraig. Shocked, huh? Issei. Shocked, they killed each other. Everyone in the room except for Office was indeed shocked by this news, since they all knew the legend of Sparda. Ddraig and Issei knew firsthand how powerful they were, to the point that both the brown-haired boy and the Welsh dragon thought they were unstoppable. This also saddened and confused Issei, since he would have, after Nero went through to defeat his father and trying to stop both him and Dante from killing each other, that they would put their sibling rivalry behind. But still he wondered why. Did they go as far as killing each other? What was the point? They are brothers bound by blood, and as such, they should protect each other and have each other's back no matter what. This also made Issei think about Nero, and if knew about his father and uncle's passing, he could imagine the amount of rage and sadness that he might go through knowing what he tried to do was for nothing. Office. Stoic. That dream that you had about the descendants of Sparda fighting each other happened 5 years ago. Issei. Shocked, 5 years ago. Office. Stoic. Yes, what you saw was the last major event that involved the sons of Sparda. Zenobia. Curious, what happened? Office. Stoic. Virgil, after being beaten by his younger brother, Dante, over and over again, decided that he had enough, and as such, he did the one thing he could to obtain the power to defeat him. Using Yamato, he completely separated his human half from his demon half, formed two personas, with his human half taking on the name V and his demonic half taking the name Urizen. While the human half realized the error of his ways, the demonic half wanted absolute power. It was then Urizen grew an ancient and powerful tree from the underworld called the Clefith, which takes hundreds upon hundreds of human blood as nourishment to grow a certain fruit composed of human blood in order to give him the demonic power needed to finally defeat his younger brother. But even then it wasn't enough. It was then V merged with Urizen to bring back Virgil in order to settle their feud once and for all. The rest you already from your dream, in which Nero temporarily stopped their battle. Zenobia. Shocked, unbelievable, I can't believe something like that happened just a few years ago. Curious and confused, but wait, something like that should have all been in the news, since hundreds of people were murdered and a demonic horde had broken loose, in which I'm surprised I didn't know about it. Issei. Curious, yeah, I mean both me and Zenobia would have been 12 years old when this happened, so how come we don't know about it? Office. Stoic. That is because all of the factions of the world, especially 3 biblical factions, suppressed this information from leaking out to the rest of the world. After Virgil and Dante severed the Clefith and sealed the pathway between the demon realm and the human realm, many of the leaders from different factions went out of their way to erase the memories on some of the surviving humans so as to not expose the supernatural. Issei. Serious, I see, that makes sense, since if something were to be exposed then the planet would be in a frenzy. Zenobia. Nods agreed, curious, though I'm surprised that I didn't know about it despite being a member of the church. Issei. Serious, it could be the same situation like the truth of God's death, in which only the higher-ups of the church know about it, since they probably didn't want to admit to needing the help of other religions. Sweat drops talk about pride, right, and they call it a sin when they do it almost all the time. Curious, but anyway, what happened to Dante and Virgil afterwards? Office. Stoic, since they had to lock themselves away in the demon realm in order to keep more hordes of demons from emerging, they decided to continue their battle until it killed them. I luckily was there to pick up their swords before any of the factions could get their hands on them. Issei. Curious, are their swords really that powerful and sought after? Ddraig. Serious, they are, though originally Sparta had 3 swords, each of them were more powerful than Gram, which was considered the strongest of demonic swords. I would imagine that there is no holy or divine sword in the world that matches them, not even Caliburn, which is the strongest of the holy swords. Issei. Serious, so even Ascalon is probably no better than a toothpick compared to these swords. Annoyed, still it bothers me that after everything those two still ended up killing each other, especially Virgil. I mean, for fuck's sake, wouldn't he want to be alive to be with his son and spend time with him? Office. Stoic, actually Virgil didn't know Nero was his son until the final battle on the cliff. Issei. Shocked, what? Office. Stoic, it would seem during his life, Virgil made love and impregnated a human woman who eventually became Nero's mother and left her without a trace. I think even Virgil was surprised to find out that he actually had a son this entire time, but it seems that his desire for power overshadowed to take the time to know him. Now this genuinely angered Issei, since to him like Virgil was like his own father, in which he cared more about himself than his own son, and what he wanted to do was to give him a piece of his mind. But his mind also went back to his dream and the look in Virgil's eyes, the look deep down inside of always being afraid of being weak and never being able to be strong enough to protect anyone. This of course brought major conflict within the brown-haired boy's mind, since on one hand he despises Virgil for abandoning his own son for his quest for power, while on the other hand, he felt there was more to Virgil's character, as if there was more to his story on why he did the things that he did. But nevertheless, there was no excuse for him to simply abandon Nero like he did, and should have made an effort to connect with his son at the very least. Issei. Serious, I see, to be honest, a part of me wishes he was still alive, so I give him a piece of my mind about what he has done. Office. Stoic, well, technically he is still alive. Issei. Surprised, how? Office. Stoic, you see, when both Virgil and Dante died, their souls became bound to their swords. Issei. Serious, so kind of like how Ddraig and Albion's souls are in the boosted gear and divine dividing. Ddraig. Serious, it would seem so, partner. Office. Stoic, yes, but don't think you can just claim either of their blades, since their souls reside within them. Once you pick up either sword, you will be dragged into a mindscape in which you will have to fight their spirits in order to gain ownership of their blades. I have had a few people who I thought could wield either sword only to be either completely rejected or killed. Zenobia. Shocked, wait, people were killed trying to claim these blades. Looks at Issei with concern. Ice, maybe this isn't a good idea. If there is a chance you'll die then. Issei. Serious, I understand your concern, Zenobia, but there must be a reason why Malzeno sent me a reason to find the sons of Sparta. Why I had that dream in the first place. Malzeno is the dragon god of fate, meaning he must have known about Dante and Virgil's death long before I did, but sent me to find them. Maybe he wanted me to find their swords and confront them. Shakes head. I don't know how to really explain it to you, Zenobia, but my whole body is telling me I need to do this, plus this could be the only way to not only get to Remnant, but also remove the evil piece inside of you. Zenobia. Concern, I know, but you are going up against the son of the most powerful demon at demon, who was even more powerful than the original Lucifer, as well as has had years worth of battle experience. I already lost you once from becoming an evil dragon, and I don't want to lose you again from trying to help me. Issei. Smiles softly. HMPH hugs Zenobia. Zenobia. Surprised, huh? Issei. Smiles softly. Have faith in me, Zenobia, and I promise you that I will return okay. Zenobia. Worried while hugging Issei tighter. Promise? Issei. Smiles softly. I never break my promises, so believe me when I say I promise that I will come back from this alive. Zenobia. Nods him. But that being said, Issei walked up in front of the two swords. He was staring at both of them, and even though he just needed Yamato, something strange happened. As if through by pure instinct, he grabbed both swords at the same time, which shocked everyone in the room, even Office, since no one had tried grabbing both at the same time. It was then Issei's eyes became completely hollow. Upon seeing this, both Zenobia and Office were indeed shocked that Issei grabbed onto both swords instead of just grabbing Yamato. Zenobia. Shocked, why would Issei grab both swords? If he does that, then wouldn't it mean he needs to fight both Dante and Virgil? Office. Eyes narrowed. It would seem so, but this is also interesting, since no one has ever thought about grabbing both swords at the same time before. Zenobia. Curious, is there a way to pull him out if things get too hectic? Office. Nods. No, not even Ddraig could pull him out if he wanted to. The only way for Issei to get out is to either beat both Dante and Virgil or die. This gravely concerned Zenobia since she said she had faith in the brown-haired boy, but that was when he only had to face one of the two brothers, but now he needed to possibly fight both of them at the same time, which essentially doubled his chances of coming out alive. Even though Office didn't show it, she was also indeed concerned for her older brother's reincarnation, as well as being confused as to why the brown-haired boy would grab both swords, even after knowing what he had to do to just claim one of them. But nevertheless, both girls were deeply worried for Issei's well-being and hoped he would come back alive. Zenobia. Office. Mind. Concern. Please come to us, Isani-san. Meanwhile with Issei. Issei awoke in a deep dark void. Unlike his usual mindscape, where he would meet and speak to Ddraig, this place felt different, since he could feel any connection to the Welsh dragon whatsoever, which confused him greatly. Issei. Confused. What the hell? Ddraig, are you here? Ddraig. Serious, he can't hear you here or come to your aid. It's just you and us. Issei. Surprised, huh? Laughs. Wow kid, you must be either really dumb or very cocky to grab both of our swords. Though I will admit you have guts kid, and I can respect that. When Issei turned to the source of the voices, he was shocked and a little bit overwhelmed, since he was in the presence of both Dante and Virgil, the legendary sons of Sparda. But whatever the case, he remained calm because he knew that he would need to fight either or both of them in order to become worthy to wield their blades. Issei. Serious. Hello Dante. Eyes narrowed. Virgil. Dante. Whistle. Smirk. So you know who we are. Interesting. Virgil. Serious. And I can tell you are the current Sekiryuutei. I hope you're wise enough to not avenge your foolish predecessor and believe you can automatically take on both of us. Dante. Raises an eyebrow. So he's the Sekiryuutei. Man, I hope you're not as bad as when I had to deal with the Hakurik. Man, that guy was a real jackass and felt like he always had a stick up his ass. Issei. Serious. No, I'm not here to avenge my senpai, but I am here for your swords since I was told to find you too. Virgil. Serious. Really now? Please, I must ask what your name is, boy, and why do you want our swords and power? Issei. Serious. My name is Issei Hyoudou. Serious. It's just Issei and I am the current Sekiryuutei. Dante. Mind. Curious, why did he hesitate to say his last name? Is he like lady who is ashamed of his parents or something? Virgil. Serious. Well Issei, why is it that you want our sword and power? Issei. Serious, because I was told that a great catastrophe will one day occur and only I will be ready for said catastrophe. I guess I would need your power in order to survive the coming storm. Looks to Dante. No offense to you, Dante, but originally I just wanted Yamato, but my body moved on its own and I ended up grabbing your blade by accident. Dante. Surprised. Ouch, so I'm just an accident here now. Geez kid, you know how to kick a guy down and here I am dead. Issei. Serious. Forgive me, but like I said before, I didn't mean to grab your sword, but if I can also use it, then maybe it can be of use to me in my journey. Virgil. Serious. So tell me, Issei, why do you want Yamato in particular? Issei. Size. I need it so I can get to another universe as well as help free someone dear to me from enslavement. Virgil. Serious. You speak of the evil P system. Issei. Shocked. How did you? Virgil. Serious. A few years ago one of the current devil kings tried to recruit me as a member of his peerage as his pawn. I refused, since I will not allow myself to be a slave to no one. He even tried to challenge me in hopes I would be willing to consider joining his peerage, but in the end he was no match for me and I defeated him easily. Issei. Gulps nervously. Can I ask which devil king did you challenge and defeat? Virgil. Smirks. Serzich's Lucifer. Issei. Mind. Panics. Goddamn it, Serzich's, why the hell would you pick a fight with this guy? Are you that fucking insane? Meanwhile with Serzich's. Currently we see a handsome man who seems to be in his early 20s. He has shoulder-length crimson hair and blue eyes in an office in the depths of the underworld. This man was of course Serzich's Lucifer, formerly Gremory and one of the 4 current devil kings. He was currently doing paperwork as well as mentally getting ready for the upcoming leaders summit until Serzich's sneezes at you. Curious. Lord Serzich's, are you alright? The person who spoke was a beautiful young woman appearing to be in her early 20s with back-length silver hair that features a long braid on each side with small blue bows at the ends, while the rest is let down, which ends in twin braids and red eyes. She wears a blue and white French-made outfit with long sleeves and a white-made headband over her head with red lipstick as a cosmetic accessory. This was of course Grafia Lucifuge, queen of Serzich's Lucifer, as well as his wife. Serzich's sniffles while smiling. I'm fine Grafia, I just think someone was talking ill of me is all. Grafia. Sweat drops. I don't think that you should look past so easily, my lord. Surziches? Chuckles nervously. Ha, I know dear shivers, but something also tells me that the person that was talking ill about me was also speaking to a person I don't want to face again. Rafia? Confused. Huh? Back with Issei. Dante? Smirks while stroking his chin. Ah yeah, I also got asked to be part of a Devil King's peerage, not gonna lie, a part of me was tempted given she was pretty cute. But I didn't. I would be into the whole serving a master routine, plus sad to say the whole magical girl would just cramp my style. Issei, mind. Deadpan while sweat dropping. He must be talking about Seraphol, since who else would he be describing? Issei. Serious, but yes, she is currently a reincarnated devil, but she realized that her master no doubt only saw her as a tool to further her own selfish goals, since she wields Durandal. We were told Yamato had the power to safely remove the evil piece from her body. Virgil. Serious. I see. Please tell me, why do you want to go to another universe? Eyes narrowed. It better not be because you are trying to run away when you just said you wanted power. Issei. Eyes narrowed. No sighs and annoyance. Look, I need to go to this other universe because I was told that it would give me the answers that I need to understand to fight off this great catastrophe that I'm about to face. Virgil. Serious. I see. Well, summons Yamato. I hope you know your little talk is not going to be enough for you to be worthy to use my sword. Issei. Eyes narrowed. I know summon boosted gear, and to be honest, even though I'm not here to avenge my senpai, I do have a bone to pick with you. Blade. Virgil. I narrowed. Really now? Dante. Chuckles grins. I like this kid, he has spunk. Summons DSD. Alright kid, I'll humor you. Virgil. Serious while blocking Dante. Wait, Dante. Dante. Confused. What's the big deal? Virgil. Serious while looking at Dante. He was originally after Yamato, so as such I have the right to fight him first. Issei was honestly surprised since a part of them thought he would need to fight both of them at the same time, but to think Virgil would be the one to declare to fight one-on-one. This also made the brown-haired boy admit that the eldest son of the legendary Dark Knight did have some redeeming qualities, as well as a sense of honor just like his father. But that still wasn't enough to entirely forgive him for what he has done, not knowing that during his battle Issei will pierce through the mask, which is Virgil's Sparda. Dante. Annoyed. Aw man, but I wanted to fight the Sekiryuutei too. Virgil. Annoyed. Enough, I'm fighting him first, and that's final. Dante. Annoyed. TSK. Always the buzzkill as always. Virgil. Serious while looking at Issei. Now then, before we fight, I'm curious as to why you have such a grudge against when we clearly haven't met. Dante. Sweat drops. Oh no, Virgil, don't tell me you had another kid besides Nero. Virgil. Annoyed with a tick mark. Shut it. I did not sleep with another woman. Issei. Annoyed. I'm not Virgil's kid. Glares while pointing Ascalon at Virgil, but I am annoyed by Virgil for what he had done, more precisely what he made Nero go through. Virgil. Serious. So you know about Nero? Issei. Serious. Yeah, I do. Even after finding out he was your son and him wanting to save you, you couldn't let go of your lust for power and trying to beat Dante. Virgil. Eyes narrowed. You know nothing, boy. Issei. Serious. Maybe so, but I sure do a shitty father when I see one. Tell me, Virgil, if you knew Nero existed beforehand, then you would have given up your pursuit for power and decided to be a father to him. Dante. Mind. Serious. This kid is pretty sharp, but I can't help but feel that the way he is speaking to Virgil is personal, way too personal. Just what happened to this kid exactly? Virgil. Serious. Would it have mattered? Even after our interaction I could tell Nero lived fine without me and became strong, which is all that matters. Issei. Glares at Virgil. You truly are the worst. Sure, Nero may have become strong, but at what cost? Virgil. Serious. Issei. Serious. No words. Fine. Gets in battle ready stance. Let's get this over with. Virgil. Smirks. HMPH. Let's have some fun. Dante. Smirks. This should be interesting. It was then both Issei and Virgil charged at each other at great speed, and even though Virgil was far the superior swordsman, Issei was at least able to defend himself against most of his attacks. Even Dante, who was watching from the sidelines, had to admit that the brown-haired boy was doing well for a complete amateur, although the younger brother knew that Virgil was holding back immensely, since if he wanted to, then he could have ended Issei before they even started. But he guessed he wanted to give a boy a shot of proving his worth at the very least, as well as seeing what type of person this generation Sekiryuutei was all about. Cling cling cling. The brown-haired boy was definitely in a tough situation since, even though he was able to predict Virgil's movements, the problem was that he moved so fast that Issei couldn't react fast enough to counter. Issei will definitely admit that the difference between Virgil and Kiba's sword skills were worlds apart. It was as if Issei was staring up at the tallest mountain in the universe, and he hadn't even reached the foot of it, while Virgil was at the very top of the summit, nowhere else to climb, but still desired to climb further. The sensation was both terrifying but also exhilarating for Issei. He didn't know if the latter was due to his new draconic instincts finally starting to take root, but the thought of such a challenge indeed got the brown-haired boy's blood boiling with excitement to the point he was smirking uncontrollably, which got the attention of the two brothers. Virgil. Smirks, why are you smirking like that? You do realize you've been on the defensive, right? You have yet to land one hit on me. It was then Issei backed away from Virgil, who still had that smirk on his face, while pointing Ascalon directly at the eldest son of Sparta. Issei. Smirks, to be honest I don't know. But I feel the more I clash blades with you, the more I can feel the difference in both our power and skill. That thought both greatly intrigues and excites me. Virgil. Smirks, HMPH, really now? Issei. Smirks, yes, from clashing blades with you, I can see how the gaps are worlds apart, and I sparred with a guy who was taught by the strongest knight in the underworld. But they don't even compare to you, because for some reason I can tell you are holding back a lot of your strength, and it both infuriates and excites me, because I now know where I stand, but as a dragon, the very thought of such a challenge motivates me to no end. Even though I still don't approve of what you have done, at the same time I have come to respect you in a sense. You have essentially become a goal that I want to reach as both a swordsman and as a warrior. Virgil couldn't help but smirk at the brown-haired boy's statement, since he had to admit despite the immense difference in both skill and power, he did enjoy clashing blades with the boy, especially since he could sense the immense potential that lay within him. He was also glad that this boy was not like his predecessor, who was filled with arrogance and vanity. Virgil. Smirks, HMPH, well then let us see how far that your motivation will take you. Issei. Smirks, key. But that continued their clash. Dante couldn't help but be a bit surprised, since it looked like his older brother looked like he was genuinely having fun, which furthered his interest in the brown-haired boy. All the while Issei couldn't help to be engrossed in the battle he was currently in. He was now starting to believe why his rival Vali was interested in fighting, or just possibly fighting strong opponents in general. It was not only the thrill that fighting someone who was just or stronger than him, but the fact when he fought with said opponent the world around him just completely shut off, all that there was just him and his opponent and the battle they were currently having. Nothing else mattered, and for that moment Issei genuinely forgot about what has happened to him in the last few hours, his nightmares, his betrayal, and the words he received from both Rias and his so-called parents. Issei was currently in complete bliss. He then began to wonder about all the anime characters he used to watch and read about when he was kid, and how the main character had their main rival, who was either the final boss or the one that would keep on pushing them to become stronger and stronger to the point they have reached their peak. Issei, mind. Curious, I wonder if this is how Ddraig and Albion felt when they fought. If so, then I think I can genuinely understand their anger when the three factions interrupted them. I don't think I would want anyone to interrupt the sacred battle that I'm having. Eyes narrowed, but I and lose focus, since I still need to defeat Virgil and claim Yamato, so I can free Zenobia from the evil peace, as well as get to Remnant. But that thought made Issei went on the offensive, to which Issei was able to land a single hit on Virgil, but unfortunately for the brown-haired boy, despite Ascalon being a holy sword, it did very little damage. Person like Virgil, who despite being half-demon, had developed a far superior resistance to holy items due to his years of battle. When the eldest son of Sparta inspected the wound that he received from Issei, he couldn't help but smirk, since this meant that the brown-haired boy was now starting to take their fight seriously. Virgil. Smirks, HMPH, so you're finally taking this seriously. Issei. Smirks, well, as much I would love us to continue our battle until one of us croaks, I also need to remember the main reason why I came here in the first place. Virgil. Smirks, well, that's good. It's never wise to never forget about your goals. The fact that you still remember what truly is important is very admirable indeed. Dante, mind. Surprised, did Virgil just give him a compliment? Issei, mind. Surprised, did Virgil just compliment me? Virgil. Smirks, but I must agree, I do believe we have played around for long enough. Since you said it infuriated you that I was holding back my strength, then allow me to show you the true might of a son of Sparta. Dante. Slightly worried, oh boy. It was then Virgil slid back and slashed so quickly that he appeared to only unsheath and resheath Yamato via Iade Maya Jutsu. For a literal nanosecond, Issei believed nothing happened until, as if his instincts were screaming at him to move, he instantly jumped straight into the air, which due to his now dragon body, he flew higher than he was just reincarnated devil. But when the brown-haired boy looked down, he saw a cone-shaped distortion protrudes outward from Virgil, and within that distortion forms a dark purple orb that causes a more intense visual distortion that is then covered in curved slashes. The brown-haired boy narrowed his eyes, since the cone did leave slash marks on the ground, to which he figured that this was the technique Ddraig warned him about, which got his previous host killed. Issei, mind. Eyes narrowed, so that was the technique that Ddraig was talking about. I have to admit that move is extremely dangerous, since I couldn't even predict that it was going to hit me. If it wasn't my instincts kicking in, then I would have been dead for sure. Sweat drops, wait, panics, how the fuck do I land? As Issei realized that he was a few stories up in the air, he began to fall to the ground while panicking, which of course made the two sons of Sparda to sweat drop a bit, since it was obvious that the brown-haired boy did not think about what would happen when he reached that height. Issei panics, oh crap. Virgil, Dante, mind. Sweat drops, this boy is not very bright, is he? But just as Issei was nearing the ground, he felt something sprout out his back, to which he was now floating in midair. Issei confused, what the flap? Issei confused, huh? When Issei turned to the source of the flapping sound, what he saw had him in both shock and awe. What he saw on his back were 4 large silver dragon wings with beautiful gold accents. The brown-haired couldn't help but be in awe of the beauty of the wings, since they looked exactly like Malzeno's wings. But not only that, Issei felt that these wings were a lot more natural to him compared to his devil wings, which made sense since not only could he not summon his devil wings like the others in the orc, but also a small part of him felt like those wings weren't meant for him. The brown-haired boy noticed how sharp the edges of the wings were, as if they were blades, but unfortunately for Issei, his thoughts were interrupted when Virgil spoke. Virgil? Serious, hey? Issei startled, huh? Virgil? Serious, it's never wise to become distracted during the middle of a battle, even for a second, especially if that 1 second could literally spell life and death for someone like you. It was then Virgil performed the same attack again, but this time it reached into the air where Issei, which greatly surprised the brown-haired, since he didn't think that attack would reach him at this height. But nevertheless he was barely able to dodge the attack, but what completely got Issei terrified was that Virgil then began to rapidly perform the same attack, which caused more distorted sphere to appear right next to the brown-haired boy. Issei genuinely believed that he had luck on his side, that none of those attacks landed on him, but he knew that his luck would soon run out, and he needed to figure out a way to properly fight back. Issei mind. Eyes narrowed, damn, I'm truly in a pickle, aren't I? Virgil is not the son of a legendary demon, but he's also a master swordsman with years worth of battle experience. Whereas I am just a stupid teenager with hardly any battle experience, hell, I don't even know how to properly use this new body of mine. Even if I boosted my power to the max, I bet it would nowhere near half his full strength, damn, how am I even going to match up to him? As if his prayers were being answered, Issei's eyes glowed a deep silver, which surprised both Dante and Virgil on what the brown-haired could be doing. All the while Issei was looking at what seemed to be a memory of Malzeno using his wings and tail as a weapon. Issei didn't know how to explain it, it was as if Malzeno was trying to teach him how to use his new body. The brown-haired boy couldn't help but be mesmerized at the way Malzeno used his wings as a secondary set of blades. The speed, power, and precision of his attacks both on the ground and in midair became engraved into his mind, as if he now put his mind into it, he could copy it exactly. When it was done, Issei couldn't help but smile fondly, since truly believed that Malzeno was trying his best from his end to help the brown-haired boy to truly move forward and overcome this trial. Issei mind smiles fondly, thank you, Malzeno. It was then as if following his natural instincts, Issei spiraled down towards the ground with great speed, which confused Virgil, since he couldn't tell what the brown-haired could be doing. Virgil mind. Eyes narrowed, what are you doing, Issei? Just when Issei was about to hit the ground, at the very last second the brown-haired boy lifted his body up and sped right towards Virgil in a spiraling motion, as if he turned himself into a drill to speak, which shocked the two brothers, since it looked exactly like their Sin Stinger technique. It was then Virgil put up Yamato in a defensive position to try to block Issei's attack, to which it did work, but it didn't change the fact that Virgil was being pushed back due to the force of Issei's attack. Virgil mind. Eyes narrowed, damn, where the hell did he learn that technique? Virgil then, using a good majority of his strength, pushed back Issei's attack, to which the brown-haired boy in question stepped onto the blade of the Yamato in order to get the high ground and to perform an overhead slash with Ascalon. Upon seeing this, Virgil, using his superhuman reflexes, the white-haired man placed his blade above him in order to block Issei's attack, but stab. Virgil grunts in pain, ahh. Dante surprised, holy shit. What had happened was that as Virgil was too busy to block Issei's overhead slash with Ascalon, the white-haired man failed to notice that he was stabbed in the abdomen by one of Issei's wings. Both the sons of Sparda couldn't believe what happened, more so to Dante than anything, since he would ever see the day that his older brother would take a hit like that by anyone besides him and Nero. It was then Virgil quickly backed away a few from Issei as he began to heal the stab wound he received. All the while he couldn't be helped but both be amazed and impressed by the brown-haired boy, since very few people can do this to him. Virgil smirks, hmph, I must say I'm extremely impressed, Issei, not a lot of people can give me such a wound. But here you are, a complete novice at both fighting and swordplay, and was able to greatly wound someone like me who has years of both combat experience and has mastered in using a blade. Makes me wonder how powerful you will truly be if given proper time and training. Dante, mind. Surprised is Virgil actually giving this kid a compliment. Smirks HMPH. Now I think I have finally seen and heard everything. Issei. Smirks HMPH. I must say, given the fact it's from someone like you, I thank you, Virgil, for the compliment, since being acknowledged by a powerful warrior such as yourself is no doubt the greatest another warrior can ever receive. Get into a battle stance, but I think this little warm-up of ours has gone on long enough, don't you think? Virgil. Smirks HMPH. Don't get cocky, brat. Like you said, I have been holding back since we started this battle, and don't believe you got one lucky hit if you think you can take me on at full strength. Issei. Smirks. No, I would never think that. Points blade at Virgil. I know that I'm still light years away from even coming close to your level of strength and skill, that it might even take me centuries to even come close to that level. Serious, but I made a promise to someone who I began to deeply care about that I would come back from this alive, and I refused to break my promise to her, so even if I battle both you and Dante for the rest of eternity in order to prove myself worthy of wielding your blades, then so be it. Virgil. Smirks HMPH. Very well, then let's have some fun. Dante. Sighs sadly. Well, this kid is dead. Meanwhile, with Zenobia and Office. It has been almost an hour since Issei has grabbed both Yamato and DSD and began his battle with the spirits of the sons of Sparda. So far there has been any changes to the brown-haired boy's body or any sign that he was going to awake or not, and of course both the tension and suspense was killing both Zenobia and Office. Although for Office still kept her emotionless expression, but it was mostly she didn't want further the blue-haired girl's worries, as well as the fact she had to have faith in her older brother's reincarnation, that he would pull through. But it didn't stop her from worrying about him, since if Issei had to fight off against both sons of Sparda, then the chances of him succeeding were extremely low. Zenobia. Concern. He's been like this for almost an hour, do you think he's okay? Office. Emotionless. It is hard to tell, but since he hasn't died yet must mean that he is at least holding his own. Zenobia. Concern. I just hope he can come out of this alive. Office. Emotionless. He will. Office. Mind. Deeply concerned. He must, because Ani-chan always comes out on top because he is the strongest. As the dragon god of infinity thought of those words, her mind went back to the time where she last spoke to and saw her older brother before his inevitable death. Flashback. In the vast fields of the reverse side of the world stood a young man. He wears high-collared black and tan robes with gold trim, along with a large flowing white toga draped around his torso. He has short black hair, dark eyes, and abnormally sharp canines. As the mysterious black-haired man stared into the vast fields of the reverse side of the world, couldn't help but smile softly at how peaceful and silent this place has become. It has been a few hundred years since Malzeno had banished all of the original gods and dragons out of the reverse side of the world, to which currently most of the gods are squabbling over who gets to control which area on a planet that they all grew a liking to, known as Earth. But since then, this beautiful plane of existence has slowly but surely begun to return to its former beauty. Smile softly. It truly has become truly peaceful since Ani-san kicked all those noisy people out. Although this silence still doesn't compare to the silence of my real home. Smiles warmly. Office, you made it. Office. Curiousum. Behind the young man now known as Office stood another young man that seemed to be slightly older than Office, with long spiky silvery white hair and blood-red crimson eyes. He wore a silver trench coat which looked like they were made out of the scales of a dragon. He also a black dress shirt underneath, with a few buttons undone to give off a somewhat bad boy look. He wore black pants with matching shoes. This person was Malzeno, the true dragon god of hope and fate, and the silver dragon god emperor of the stars. Office. Smiles fondly. Hello Ani-san, it truly has been a while, hasn't it? Malzeno. Smiles warmly. Yes it has, little brother. I'm sorry that I called you out of your room, I know that you hate being disturbed. Office. Nods. Nonsense, if it's for you Ani-san, I don't mind at all. Looks around a bit annoyed. So is that little red. Groans in pains. AHH. Before Office could finish his sentence, he was unfortunately kicked in the face by a young boy who was in his teens. He had pale skin, short red hair and pale sharp eyes that appeared to be goldish in color. He has a slender build and has also been shown to have exceptionally sharp canine teeth. Smirks smugly. HMPH. Still too weak and sense me, huh, stupid snake. Upon being called, Office quickly got rubbing his cheek, all while having a completely enraged and annoyed expression on his face. Office. Annoyed? Why, you little red piece of shit. I swear to you that I will. Smirks smugly. What? Kick my ass please. Gets into battle ready stance. But if you really want to go at it, then by all means let's go at, since it has been a while since we fought, and I'll gladly show you the might of a true dragon, which is something you will never be. Office. Smirks with a tick mark. Alright then, you really want to go? Very well then, I guess as your older sibling I guess I should be the one to discipline you. Smirks with anticipation. Alright, let's go. Bonk. It was then both Office and the mysterious Redeed teen were smacked on the head by Malzeno, who had a slightly annoyed expression since hated it when his younger siblings fought over stupid reasons. Office winces in pain. Oh. Malzeno. Annoyed. That's enough for both of you. Looks at the red-haired boy now. Mikito apologizes to your older sibling. Mikito. Groans up. Outs in annoyance. Why should I? And Nikki points at Office. I mean, look, he's not even a true dragon like you and me. Malzeno. Eyes narrowed. True dragon or not, Office is still your older sibling, and as such you need to give him the respect he deserves. Plus right now if Office wanted to he could obliterate you in a matter of seconds. Office. Serious, and I was tempted to do so, too. Malzeno. Serious. Office. Office. Looks down in sadness. Sorry Ani-san. Malzeno. Sighs sadly. Looks at Mikito. Now apologize. Mikito. Sighs in annoyance. Rolls his while being sarcastic. I'm sorry Office. Malzeno. Serious. Say it without the sarcasm. Mikito. Grumbles in annoyance. Serious. I'm sorry for trying to pick a fight with you, Office. Nai-san. Office. Serious. Apology accepted. Malzeno. Serious. That's better. Sighs sadly. I truly wished you two didn't fight every time you two meet. Don't you know that it truly breaks my heart whenever I see you two fight. Office. Sad and forgive me, Ani-san, and believe me I have tried to make peace with him, but sighs in annoyance he keeps on making it difficult to do so. Mikito. Serious. Well, that's because the only people I respect are true dragons, which means I only respect Aniki, since not only he's the only other true dragon, but also the strongest. Malzeno. Sighs now. Mikito, even though you are a true dragon and currently far stronger than any normal dragon, making you a new class of dragon doesn't mean you are invincible. Besides, you still have a long way to go before reaching the class of dragon god like me and Office. Mikito. Slightly annoyed. Yeah, I know. Points at both Malzeno and Office, but that's just because I haven't unlocked my aura yet. Once I unlock it I'll become the strongest true dragon next to you, Aniki. Malzeno. Smiles softly. HMPH. One day you will, little red. Mikito. Embarrassed. I really wish you wouldn't call me that. Malzeno. Smirks with one eye closed. Why not? I think it's a perfectly good name for you. Smiles softly while rubbing Mikito's head. Mikito. Akabane. Precious red, making you my little precious red dragon, Ki. Mikito. Embarrassed. Couldn't you have given me a more badass name? Malzeno. Pouts. I think it's pretty badass. Mikito. Embarrassed. Malzeno. Smiles warmly. HMPH. Hugs Mikito. Remember what I told you and Office about the nature of aura? Mikito. Sighs. Serious. Aura or origin is the representation of the soul given physical form, and that we dragon have not only a large abundance of it unlike the gods, but we are also masters of both manipulating and controlling aura, to the point that it is considered even more powerful than magic. Malzeno. Smiles. Correct. And did you remember why we dragons are so uniquely connected to the concept of aura? Mikito. Serious. That when it comes a time for some of us dragons in which our aura evolves or transcends into something to our particular characteristics, giving us unique powers and abilities that no other race can truly replicate, which is the reason why we dragons are questionably more powerful than most gods. Malzeno. Smirks. HMPH. Rubs Mikito head. Well, I'm glad that you were at least paying attention to my lessons. Mikito. Grumbles in annoyance. Malzeno. Smiles warmly, but you forgot one crucial thing about unlocking one's aura. Mikito. Curious. What is that? Malzeno. Serious. Once a dragon's aura finally transcends their aura, it opens up a variety of new paths, in which the initial power of your aura will not be the only the ability that you will have, in which new abilities corresponding to your aura will emerge given time and training. I mean, look at Office, who unlocked his aura of infinity a few centuries ago, and while powerful and destructive, it may be to the point it was that power that helped him reach the power of Dragon God has barely scratched the surface of what he can do, but only time can tell what that power can possibly lead to. Hell, even myself, it took a few 100,000 years to even grasp, let alone master the power of my aura of virtue, and I still believe deep down there is still so much my aura can do, but I haven't reached that point yet. So even though if you unlock your aura, it will not mean you will automatically reach the level of Dragon God, since you will need time to learn to harness and master your aura. Mikito. Sad. And so you're saying that no matter how much I train or when I unlock my aura, I'll never be as strong as you? Malzeno. Sad and nonsense. Mikito smiles softly, because you will no doubt become one of the most powerful dragons in existence, to the point that even I would be wary of fighting. Mikito. Hopeful. Really? Malzeno. Smiles softly. Of course. Places hand over Mikito's heart, because I have complete faith that you will embody the unbroken and everlasting dream that not only every dragon, but also every being will want to achieve. Looks at Office with a soft smile, just how I believe Office will one day embody the infinite possibilities that one can take towards a better tomorrow. Office smiles softly, and I promise to live up to your expectations, Ani-san. Well, Zeno smiles softly. I know you will, Office, both of you, because you two are and will always be my greatest treasure. Watching you two grow and me being your older brother has been the greatest joy that I could ever imagine. Smiles warmly. It is a joy that I would even give my life for if it means that you will be protected. Mikito confused. Yeah, but you won't die, right, Aniki? Well, Zeno surprised. Huh? Mikito confused. I mean, you're the strongest being in existence and you can see into the future, so you will always know how to defeat your enemies. You're unbeatable. Well, Zeno smiles sadly. That doesn't mean someone will come along that can actually challenge me, young one. You see, everything must have a certain balance to it, and as such someone will no doubt will come along to be my opposite and thus will be able to defeat me. I won't know who or when this opponent or force will come for me. Mikito serious nonsense. Well, Zeno surprised. Huh? Mikito serious. I know you won't be killed or be defeated because Aniki is the strongest, and if anyone or anything even tries to kill you, then they will have to go through me. That's because I will protect Aniki's honor and title as the strongest being in existence. Well, Zeno genuinely had no words to say about what his little brother just said. He was truly touched that his younger brother cared for him so much that he would go as far as fight to protect his reputation. The silver dragon couldn't help but smile warmly, since while he did enjoy the gesture, he knew it was the oldest sibling's job to protect and not the other way around. Well, Zeno smiles warmly. HMPH grins while ruffling Mikito's hair. Well, I do appreciate the gesture, Little Red, but it's supposed to be my job to protect you, not the other way around. Mikito embarrassed looks away shyly while mumbling, I just want to be able to help Aniki. Well, Zeno smiles warmly. In time, Little Red. Now then. It was then Malzeno glowed a shining silver color, to which he extended his left arm, to which a large orb of silver made from Malzeno's aura came forth and an exact copy of Malzeno emerged. Malzeno smirks. Now then, I believe it's time to continue your training. Well, you do that, I'll be speaking to Office in private. Mikito pouts. UUHH. Why can't I join in on this conversation? Malzeno serious. This talk is private, Mikito, and besides we've already held off your training by having this wayward conversation. Mikito annoyed while pointing at Malzeno's clone. Then at least be the one to train me, because there is no way that this cheap replica will. But of course, before Mikito could say anything, he was sent flying by being punched in the face by the clone of Malzeno. To which both the original Malzeno and Office couldn't help but chuckle at the scene. Malzeno chuckles. Ha ha ha, grins. That's why I packed this clone with a bit more punch. Looks at the clone. Keep him busy while I talk to Office here. Malzeno's clone nods. Right. It was then Malzeno's clone spread his 4 dragon wings that were a shining silver in color and flew at great speed towards where Mikito would land and continue on with his training. All the while Office was still laughing at the predicament his younger brother got himself into. Office laughs. Ha ha ha, honestly Ani-san, that trick never gets old. Malzeno smiles warmly. HMPH. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Office calms down. Smiles warmly. You know, it's moments like these I miss living here again. Malzeno smiles softly. Well, even though you and Mikito were originally born in the dimensional gap, know that this place will always be a home to you. Office smiles softly. Thank you, Nai-san. Malzeno saddened. But sadly soon I must forever close the gates to Avalon. Office shocked. What? Malzeno saddened. It's actually part of the reason why I called you here in the first place. Office scared and concerned. Ani-san, what's going on? What's happening? Malzeno sighs sadly. Sad in Office. In a couple thousand years from now, I'm going to be killed. Office horrified. What? This completely distraught the black-haired man, since just Mikito, he always believed that no one in existence could ever defeat his older brother, let alone kill him. Not accepting that reality and being overwhelmed with emotions, Office began to clutch his head in pain as a jet black aura formed around his body and destroyed everything within his area. Upon seeing this, Malzeno quickly acted and hugged his younger brother in hopes to calm down so that he could reel in back his aura. Malzeno serious. Office, you need to calm down. You're destroying everything. Office startled. Huh? As the black-haired man looked around to see all of the destruction he was causing as well as the concern in his older brother's eyes, Office did as Malzeno instructed and began to take deep breaths to help calm him down as well as keep his emotions under control. This sight deeply saddened Malzeno, since this was one of the reasons why Office decided to stay in the dimensional gap instead in the reverse side of the world. Well yes, Office did unlock his aura of infinity at a young age. The problem is that the nature of the aura was far too unstable and chaotic for even the black-haired boy to handle, and as such had to learn to keep his emotions in check to the point he had to become almost completely emotionless at all time. Once Office finally had a good grip on his emotions and finally reeled in his aura, the black-haired man looked up to his older brother with a neutral expression, but still had a deep look of fear and concern in his eyes. Office. Neutral with a hint of concern. What do you mean, you are going to be killed? Well Zeno. Saddened I foresaw my future in which my sworn nemesis would return to finally end my life. When he returns he and I will battle once again to determine the fate of all existence, but unfortunately in this battle he will kill me. Office. Surprised you have a nemesis? Well Zeno. Nods while saddened. Yes, it was before you and Mikito were born, but before me and him battled since he was hell-bent on destroying all of existence for such selfish and stupid reasons. When we first battled I was able to defeat him by banishing into a separate pocket dimension, so he could not cause no harm, but he promised that he would break from his imprisonment and exact his revenge on me, and after seeing this vision, he intends to keep his promise. Office. Saddened. Does Mikito know about this? Well Zeno. Saddened. No he doesn't, that's why I sent him away, since no doubt this news would completely break him. It is also the fact of why I have been pushing on his training these last few years. Office. Saddened. You want him to be ready for when you are gone? Well Zeno. Saddened. Yes, since as your older brother what I want most of all is for you two to be strong and ready for when the day comes that I'm not around anymore. Office. Confused. But I don't understand, why are you telling me all of this? Well Zeno. Saddened. Because you are the only one I can trust with this important task that I'm about to give you. Office. Curious. Which is? Well Zeno. Serious. Well I will be killed by my sworn nemesis, I will be able to seal him away with the help of Yahweh. On top of that I will eventually be reincarnated, since I know this seal will only keep him at bay for at least for a few thousand years, but I will hopefully be strong enough to finally defeat him once and for all. When that time comes I want you to help him however you can. Smiles softly. Can you do that for me, Office-chan? Office. Smiles softly while nodding. Of course Ani-san. Well Zeno. Smiles softly. HMPH hugs Office. I knew I could trust you with Office-chan. I genuinely can't wait to see you and Mikito again. I just know when I finally see you two again, I'm going to be filled with so much pride and joy. Office. Smiles sadly. I will try my best to live up to your expectations, Ani-san. Well Zeno. Smiles softly. I know you will, Office-chan. Flashback end. That's it guys. Thanks for watching and supporting us. See you in the next part.